Deep in the undergrowth, a highly coordinated workforce is turning raw timber and vines into functional rivercraft. Every piece of wood is carefully selected, and as this red ant tightens the final vine, we see a society defined by meticulous engineering and collective effort. Propulsion requires absolute synchronization. By outfitting their vessel with handcrafted paddles, these land-dwelling ants master waterborne navigation through organized, rhythmic strokes. However, the river is not empty territory. As the red ants paddle forward, intent on exploration, they drift across an invisible boundary line. Without realizing it, their routine crossing has turned them into trespassers in a highly contested zone. While the boat is an engineering success, it carries the red ants into territory they haven't scouted. Developing the technology to cross a border is useless if you don't understand the hostile forces guarding the other side. The black ants have been watching. After a lone spy ant gathers intelligence on the invader's path, the defending colony springs the trap, executing a sudden, highly coordinated ambush right along the sandy shoreline. The red ants attempt to defend their vessel, but they are quickly overpowered in the fierce struggle on the riverbank. The victorious black ants secure the captives, marching them away from the light and down into a heavily fortified subterranean prison tunnel. But the mop-up phase is sloppy. This 2D cross-section reveals a critical tactical error, failing to secure the outer perimeter. We see a secret subterranean tunnel bypassing the primary guard posts, and one red ant slips right through it. Moving swiftly and cautiously through these hidden passages, the lone survivor breaks out of enemy territory and begins a frantic, desperate sprint back to the red colony to deliver the warning of the ambush. The black ants have successfully secured their captives behind heavy fortifications. However, by failing to catch that single runner, they have left behind a witness who will ensure the red colony doesn't stay silent for long. Back at the hive, the red ants process the intelligence. Their immediate reaction is not a blind surge of violence, but a calculated, deliberate attempt at a diplomatic resolution. They deploy a specialized flying messenger boat. Piloted by a single envoy, it navigates directly into enemy airspace to deliver a strict ultimatum to the Black Ant Council: release the captives immediately or face the consequences. The Black Queen receives the message, but hubris takes over. Driven by territorial stubbornness, she flatly rejects the peace offering and threatens the messenger, insisting her borders have been violated. The Black Queen's refusal eliminates any chance for a peaceful resolution. By choosing territorial pride over the Red Ant's ultimatum, she has escalated a localized incident into a full-scale confrontation with a superior industrial power. The moment the messenger returns, the Red Colony pivots. Their highly cooperative workforce instantly transitions from civilian building to a high-efficiency military-industrial machine. Every worker, every resource is repurposed for combat. This dual-axis chart maps their mobilization. Both water and aerial production spike exponentially over a compressed timeline. Transitioning into a payload matrix, we see how they solve an engineering constraint, calculating precise weight limits to mount heavy cannons onto fragile flying boats. From a high vantage point, a black ant sentry observes the horizon. Through its frantically twitching antennae, the scout realizes the sheer scale of the mechanized fleet now moving rapidly toward their walls. The scout scrambles down the tree, and panic sweeps through the Black Colony. War drums echo in the tunnels as every ant rushes to man their primitive, highly inadequate defenses in preparation for the incoming assault. The defenders are outmatched before the engagement even begins. Failing to properly assess an adversary's industrial output and technological capacity locks an army into a catastrophic tactical disadvantage. The Red Ant Armada arrives, establishing a total siege perimeter. The flying boats and river cruisers completely envelop the dirt fortress, cutting off every possible avenue of escape by air and water. This top-down vector schematic illustrates the discipline of their fleet. The red units abandon a chaotic swarm and instead organize into a synchronized delta formation, deliberately targeting the colony's structural weak points. The command is given. The Armada unleashes a coordinated artillery bombardment, raining fire simultaneously from the river and the sky. The impacts shatter the colony's western walls. As the upper levels take heavy structural damage, the Black Ant's internal fire suppression and evacuation protocols completely break down. The lower chambers are thrown into chaos. It is a brutal demonstration of modern tactics. Traditional, static ground fortifications are entirely obsolete when subjected to a multi-axis, combined arms assault. The Black Ants reach their psychological breaking point in minutes. Battered from above and surrounded below, they recognize that continuing the fight against a force they cannot comprehend will end in total annihilation. They signal an unconditional surrender. The bombardment halts, a ceasefire takes effect, and the captive Red Ants are safely escorted out of the dark tunnels to rejoin their victorious army. The swift resolution of this conflict proves a harsh rule of engagement. An unprovoked act of aggression against an industrialized, technologically superior adversary will inevitably result in overwhelming shock, awe, and absolute defeat.